Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about my favorite young adult standalones. Now I have about 6 or 7 on my list, and in this list I have a few contemporary, I have fantasy, and I think I have a science fiction. I don't tend to read a lot of standalones. I gravitate more towards series, but I feel like these standalones really just stand out, and I think they're just so great, and I've reread a few of them multiple times, so I thought I would go ahead and share with you my favorite young adult standalones. So the first book should come at no surprise, and that is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is kind of a Harry Potter remake, kind of. We follow Simon Snow, and he is the chosen one. He goes to a magic school, and he is rooming with his arch nemesis Baz. So it'd be like if Harry and Malfoy were roommates, and just a lot of chaos happens. But what I love is that the story ends up taking its own, it ends up going into its own story. So yes, it kind of has the Harry Potter tropes, but it really does turn into its own story, and I absolutely love it. The romance is adorable, and I've reread this book multiple times. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars every time, and I don't really have anything more to say except that I really, really love this book. Next, I have Fangirl, also by Rainbow Rowell, and this is more of a contemporary, and we follow Kath. She is a twin, and she and her twin are starting college. This is like their freshman year, and we follow Kath kind of trying to become more independent and learning how to navigate school, college, classes, boys, leaving, her family, and just, her struggles through her first year of college. I love this book so much, and actually Simon Snow started off as Fangirl, so in Fangirl, Kath writes fan fiction for Simon Snow, and then Carry On is kind of Rainbow Rowell's take on the Simon Snow story. So no, you don't have to read Fangirl to read Carry On, or vice versa. They are just its own. They're both completely separate stories. Carry On is fantasy and Fangirl is contemporary. But I love this book so much, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend it, especially if you are about to start college. I think it is a great book to read because Kath is just so relatable, and I loved her journey through her freshman year in college. The next book I have is The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I really enjoyed this book. I read it and I listened to the audiobook of it, and basically in this world, vampires are known, like they exist and people know about them. So they are placed in these prisons, I guess you can called cold towns, and our main character, Tana, she ends up meeting a vampire, and she ends up basically finding herself in a cold town with this vampire. So I really enjoyed it. I love the take on the vampire. I liked how some of them were good, some of them were bad, and I liked the idea of the cold town. It was very interesting, very different, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I think I ended up giving this book maybe a 4 out of 5 stars. It's been a while since I've read it, but I do remember I really enjoyed the audiobook. The next book I have is another contemporary, and that is The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen. I really love this book. I think it is so cute. The romance is really adorable, and I enjoy Sarah Dessen's writing a lot, especially when I was in high school and kind of my early years in college, and I think this is the book that stuck out the most of the ones that I've read from her. And basically in this book we follow our main character Macy, and her father has passed away, so she is trying to kind of deal with the grief of losing her father, and she's also kind of navigating just it being her and her mother, and then of course boys. She ends up meeting this boy named Wes, and just the romance between them is just so freaking cute, and I really loved her story. And yeah, out of all of Sarah Dessen's book, like I said, this one really stuck with me the most, and I really enjoyed it. I think I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars as well. The next book I have is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Now, I know that Becky Albertalli is working on a second novel kind of following Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and that is, I believe it's Leah on the Offbeat is the title, and I think it's getting released March 24th if I'm not mistaken. But from what I was reading, I was like looking up on the internet, and this isn't necessarily, Leah on the Offbeat isn't necessarily the sequel to Simon versus the Homo sapiens. It's just kind of like more of a companion novel, I think. So I think it's safe to say that we can keep Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda as a standalone, and I absolutely loved it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The romance in this book is so amazing. There's so much diversity. I do have a spoiler-free review on this book, which I will link down below, and also Hannah and I have a full spoilery discussion on this book that I will also leave linked down below. Basically, in this novel, we follow our main character Simon, and he is gay, but he hasn't told anybody yet, and he ends up getting blackmailed with emails that he is writing to kind of like his, not necessarily pen pal, but like the boy that he's come out to named Blue, and someone gets a hold of these emails and basically blackmails him, and Simon is trying to navigate the world of high school and trying to come out and just, you know, figuring out himself and stuff like that. I really, really loved it. I thought this book was fantastic. As I said, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I have The Host by Stephenie Meyer. Now, I know Stephenie Meyer was planning on turning this book into a trilogy, but it has been 10 years since this book has been released, and still we have no sequel. So I think it is safe to say that this so far right now is a standalone, even though I know it was made to be a trilogy, but like I said, it's been a while. So I love this book so much. I've read it multiple times. This is more science fiction. Basically, in this world, aliens have already invaded Earth, and they are being placed into other people's bodies. So these souls are the aliens, and they're placed into the host. One of the aliens, Wanda, she gets placed into Melanie's body, and Melanie doesn't, basically Wanda isn't able to fully take over Melanie's body. So Melanie is still in there. She still has thoughts and knows what's going on. So basically Melanie and Wanda are trying to find Melanie's brother and like a group of survivors that haven't been taken over by souls yet. What I love so much is the fact that it's a unique premise, because the world's already been taken over versus like the world, you know, a lot of times we read the world is being taken over, but now it's done. Like the souls have taken over, and you know, the humans are trying to survive, and there's very few of them. And what I love is just the bond between Melanie and Wanda is just so great, and we get such great characters. Ian is one of my favorite book boyfriends, and he is in this book. I love Ian so much. I ended up giving this book a 5 out of 5 stars. And lastly, I have Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Now, I am currently in the middle of reading this book. I haven't finished it, but I can already tell you from what I've read so far, this is going to be one of my favorite standalone books. I love the idea of it. I love that it's a virtual reality. I love our main character Wade, and this book is written in first person, and the way he narrates, Wade's hilarious, and I think it's such a cool premise. I'm really, really excited to see the movie. Also, I'm really excited to see the movie for Simon as well. Alright guys, well that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below some of your favorite young adult standalones, and if you tend to read a lot of standalones or if you prefer series. Like I said, I tend to gravitate more towards series, so I only read like a handful of standalones, but these standalones just really kind of made an impact on me, and it's been, you know, some of them it's been a while since I've read, but I still remember how much I really enjoyed reading them. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!